Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Turning Heels podcast. I'm your host, Eric, joined as always by my co-host, Mike. Mike, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know. I feel like I caught you at a bad moment there, but that's all right. We'll just roll with the punches.
Hey, it's live. It happens.
Yep. Nothing can go wrong when you're live.
No, nothing ever has.
All right, so let's get right into it. First off, back after a week off. I had a great vacation. Thanks for everybody who reached out and wished me a happy birthday. So I appreciate that. And let's get right into, you know what, let's go over our predictions for All In London, which looks like could be their last trip to London for a while.
No, they're going back next year.
No, I thought they were going to Texas next year.
Well, they announced that that they are going next year, same weekend, but they are going to do Forbidden Door.
Oh, okay.
In London. So
okay.
This way they could go to a smaller venue because they didn't draw as many people as they did last year. So
Sure.
But I do have all the predictions up.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Sean didn't do too well. Only got 4 points.
Yeah, it's a rough night.
He won with Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta, winning the ladder match.
Nick, good call by him.
And then he won with Hook. So
yeah, which I think we all three had. Yeah,
we all three had. So he won up to 127 points. You got 12 points, bringing you up to 160, and I got 10 points, bringing me up to 166.
Okay, so I'm narrowing the gap.
You narrowed the gap. It looks like those Young Bucks helped you out.
They really did.
Because
I knew you were going FTR.
Oh yeah, blind man knew that. Because you won with the Young Bucks and Mariah May.
Yeah.
Where I won with Jack Perry.
Yeah, I don't know. I really thought Darby was going to win that again. I'm okay with Jack Perry retaining, and I'm okay with what they've done since with him attacking Bryan Danielson on Dynamite. I really enjoyed that.
It should be an interesting All Out in 2 weeks.
Right. But before we get there, we have a huge weekend this weekend.
3 major shows.
Yeah, 3 major shows. Let's just dive into a chronological order, and let's start with what is it, Emergence or
TNA Emergence will be tomorrow night, which I'm looking forward to.
I am too.
Do you want to predict the pre-show match?
Sure, why not?
All right, it's Kushida against Frankie Kazarian.
I gotta believe Frankie Kazarian wins in some kind of chicanery.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
All right, and then we'll just go right down the list. An Ultimate X match will be for the X Division title, where Mike Bailey's defending against Zachary Wentz, Riley Osborne, Jason Hotch, Hammerstone, and Laredo Kid.
To me, I feel like this is a setup to just show the pure dominance of Speedball Mike Bailey and how awesome he is in the ring. And look, I've been trumpeting that horn for a while that Speedball Mike Bailey is the most underrated wrestler in the world today.
I'd be hard-pressed to find a more underrated wrestler.
And I'm going to continue to trumpet that. I'm saying Speedball Mike Bailey retains.
I'm going a little bit different.
Okay.
I typed up my predictions while you were setting everything up.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a little bit of a difference because 2 days after is No Mercy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you think maybe Zachary Wentz wins and so he could take that X Division championship?
I think Wentz shows up to No Mercy as your X Division champion.
I mean, it would make a lot of sense.
It would be. Or Wesley's going to show up and screw him out of the title to build it up even.
That, I think, could definitely happen.
It's going to be one of those two things. So I'm going to go with Wentz, though.
Okay.
All right. What else do we have? Eric Young and Steve Macklin.
Huh. That's curious. I love Eric Young. I think he's one of the best wrestlers in TNA history. Guy who goes all the way back to darn near the beginning of the company.
Pretty much, yeah.
So that being said, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna trust my gut here. I'm gonna go with my heart. I'm gonna go EY.
You're gonna go EY.
Yeah.
You know what? I had EY as well, but I'm gonna switch it to Macklin just so we have something different.
Okay.
Because this is one of those matches I could see going either way.
Oh yeah, sure, I could too.
And Macklin, the fact he got eliminated so quickly at Slammiversary, I think they owe him a big victory.
Sure.
So that could be it. And then we have a 6. Oh, wait, I got to get the right company lingo. 6 knockout tag match between Jordan Grace and Spitfire against Ash by Elegance and the Malash, I forget, Militia, Masha Slamovich and Alicia Edwards. I think he's saying Militia. I forget.
Yeah.
I'm tongue-tied.
You know what? I think it's Ash by Elegance and Militia. I think that this could be a case where maybe like you're setting up a future championship match.
Yeah.
Maybe Ash by Elegance getting the pin over Jordan Grace.
That's what I'm thinking because the next show is Bound for Glory. Ash by Elegance, it's been her whole story, this title. And I could see them letting her win it at Bound for Glory and letting Jordan Grace
go to WWE.
WWE.
I agree with you.
And then we have an 8-man tag match between the System against the Hardys, Mike Santana, and Joe Hendry.
Okay. So, look, part of me wants to say, and maybe it is a chance to just put Joe Hendry over even more going into his NXT championship match. In fact, I think I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that team because I feel like this is a chance for TNA to unplug the big weekend for Joe Hendry.
Correct.
And I think that this is, Hendry gets a pin. Or look, wouldn't it be something if, they worked it out with WWE where, like, what if, say, Moose were to pin, Joe Hendry, and then Joe Hendry on Sunday wins the NXT championship?
Could happen.
Sure. But I'm going to go with the implosion of the System, and I believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I'm hard.
Won't be the last time I say that tonight.
I'm hard pressed to go against Hendry in this match.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So moving along then.
And the final match of the card is the 60-man Iron Man match between Nick Nemeth and Josh Alexander.
Hell yeah. I love Iron Man matches. I think they're incredible. And these are two dudes who can go. Man, I really want to go Josh Alexander. Obviously he's one of my favorites. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it. Because I don't want to not pick him and then be wrong because one of my favorite wrestlers won the world championship.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Josh Alexander.
Well, we're different.
All right. So you went with Nemeth. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Nemeth. I don't think he's going to lose it this quick. And I think they've got a lot of storytelling with him. So.
Sure. In fact, I wouldn't be opposed to like the match ending the 60 minutes in a draw.
Exactly.
And then you come back with, big time match at Bound for Glory between the two. Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on next to the Bash in Berlin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting card. I feel like almost every match on the card, what is there, 5 matches? 5 or 6?
5.
Yeah, 5 matches. 4 of them could be the main event.
In theory.
The 2 world championship matches, the mixed tag, and look, I think Drew and Punk, the strap match, is worthy of a main event spot.
That it is. So let's start with the one match that's not a main event contender. Unholy Union against Bianca and Jade.
I'll tell you what, as much as I love the Unholy Union, I feel like everything that WWE's tried to do, if they don't have Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair win the tag team titles here, then I feel like your next recourse is to split them up. And I feel like that'd be a little too quick. And Jade Cargill could easily end up getting buried if they do that. So I'm going to go with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair.
I typed most of my predictions, except for one. I'm still hemming and hawing.
Okay.
And I'm going with the Unholy Union because I think it might be that time to split these two up.
Okay. I mean, look, I would love it. Like if Jade Cargill was more seasoned, I think I'd agree with you.
Right.
She still looks greener than goose shit.
Right.
And I don't want to see her get overexposed, especially in a rivalry with Bianca Belair, because Bianca, like, as much as I've trumpeted that not really being a big fan of Bianca's, I could acknowledge that she's great. Right. And she's also really great on the microphone, and I think could really tear up Jade Cargill because Jade is not great on the mic. So I really could see, I could see that going bad for Jade Cargill.
Right. Yeah, I'm going with Jade because I just have one of those suspicions they might turn her heel and then they might give her a mouthpiece. I'm just trying to figure out who that mouthpiece would be.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't really have anybody that could play that role other than Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman should not be anywhere other than with the Bloodline somewhere, whether it be the OTC or the original or the new group. And he's not going to the new group. He's going to be with the original Tribal Chief.
Paul Heyman will play a face for one of the few times in his career. So
yeah, he will.
Yeah. Because when he comes back, people are going to go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as Pat Patterson used to say, go banana.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be when SmackDown jumps to USA. I think we're going to see that.
I would enjoy seeing the opening segment of SmackDown on USA, empty ring, and all of a sudden you hear, "Ladies and gentlemen."
Right.
And out comes Paul Heyman, and out comes Roman, and perhaps some others.
Yes, I would say I think we got to have one of the greatest tag teams in the past decade reunite in Jimmy and Jey Uso.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is quite the statement. Paul Heyman coming back. Pop will be Stone Cold-esque. I mean, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Whoever that is, messaging under Philly Sports Alliance, I can't imagine that Ryan knows the lingo that well to be able to talk about the pop.
Right.
But okay. I guess let's get into the rest of the. There we go.
Yeah, that explains it.
That explains it. Thank you. So let's get into the rest of the Bash in Berlin.
All right. We might as well just do the strap match. Punk against.
Well, Drew won the first match. I feel like if we're gonna have a trilogy, then Punk's got to win the second. So,
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. I feel this
Yeah.
one's going to be kind of easy to predict with Punk winning.
mhm.
Then we get to that trilogy.
Yeah, I wonder if there's going to be a gimmick. I would imagine you got to go another different type of gimmick for a third match.
Well, you got to look into the timeline here.
Mm-hmm.
Next pay-per-view or PLE, whatever they want to
Yeah. Whichever you refer to it as, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Happens to be in Atlanta under the name of Bad Blood. And we all know what happened at the first Bad Blood.
Yep.
The first ever Hell in a Cell. It's going to be Drew and Punk, Hell in a Cell. That's the way they got to do this.
Yeah, I agree. Then that's got to be. Do you think that closes the show at Bad Blood? I mean, we'll have to, without knowing what the rest of the card would look like, I think the match warrants it.
I think another match is going to close it, and I will explain that further. No.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hold your horses.
I'm looking forward to that explanation. Okay.
So we got the Terror Twins against Dom and Liv. Should I type it in?
Of course you should.
Okay.
Gotta be Dom and Liv.
Well, I figured such. So I
will say in my analysis of the whole thing, this should be a spot where the Terror Twins dominate.
It should be.
And yes, obviously I'm still going with Liv and Dom, but if you ask me, if I take the lie detector test, who do I actually believe will win? I gotta believe the Terror Twins.
This should be a glorified squash match.
Yeah.
In theory.
Yeah.
However, Finn and JD and Carlito are going to get involved. And this has to end with somehow Rhea getting the belt off of Liv.
Right. And I mean, obviously that's not happening in Berlin, but whether that be at Bad Blood or at Survivor Series, at some point here, we're going to have to put the belt back on Rhea Ripley. And as much as I love Liv Morgan and think she's a fantastic superstar, we're starting to get into that territory. And I know we're still months off of it, but is she going to keep the belt all the way to Mania? And I just don't see it. I see that the champion going into the Mania run has got to be Rhea Ripley. She's the most dominant female wrestler on any brand right now.
Right. Yeah. She's by far the most over wrestler.
Oh, this is a good say. We might have to circle back to that. We might have to put a pin in that and talk about Dominic being the GOAT heel right now.
He might be. He might very well be.
I don't recall very many people having as much heat as Dominic Mysterio has right now.
I mean, he's got amazing heat.
And good for him, man. You just know greatness runs in his blood, between Eddie and
Eddie and Ray, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Gunther and Randy Orton, which I think might be the main event.
Yeah. And I like that WWE alluded to it on Raw, that Gunther's going to probably get a babyface reaction.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of glad they didn't turn him babyface, because there's no need to. It's not your long-term plan to make him a babyface.
He's going home.
Babyface at home,
Well,
close to home.
Close to home. I mean, like Austria to Germany. I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's closer than some cities in the United States they are to each other. So.
Right. And they had a nice little alliance that started a little thing back last century.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to go there, but for all you history buffs, if you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Gunther, gonna get a babyface reaction. I gotta believe Gunther's going over. As much as I want to see Orton win, because I want to see him eventually, to me, he's the guy. Like John Cena's gonna break the record for 17 championships at some point. I really do believe that he is going to, over the next year, win the championship. Spoiler alert: he's probably going to be my pick to win the Rumble.
I see something else for Cena at WrestleMania.
Okay, let's put a pin in that. And we'll discuss it after after we do the predictions for this card.
Okay.
So I think Gunther retains.
I'm going with Gunther too. I think it's too early to take the title off of him.
Correct.
Considering he just won it, he's going to get that huge fan reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing, him and Orton, I think, will put on a great match. Well, really, Gunther against anyone's a great match. Yeah. I just wish it was against like a Pete Dunne or a Tyler Bate, one of the smaller wrestlers that he puts on the magical shows against, like in NXT Cardiff or the NXT where he won the title from Dunne. But I think this has potential to be a phenomenal match.
I agree.
And then we have Cody and KO.
This is weird. This kind of makes me think of. So again, I've told everybody about how I listened to the Bruce Pritchard show.
Mm-hmm.
So he talked about Mr. Fuji and how he was notorious for ribbing people.
Right.
And so he's on this trip with this one guy, and I don't remember who it was that he said, but the guy was warned going into this trip. He goes, dude, if you're traveling with Fuji, you got to be aware. Dude, he's a ribber. He's going to rib you at some point. And so the guy, the whole time, he's waiting for it. Every hotel, just waiting for that rib to come along. And it never comes. And they go through the whole tour, and he comes, and they're on their way back. They get home, and when they get off the plane, to go their separate ways, he looks at him and goes, he's like, dude, he's like, everybody warned me about how big a ribber you are. He's like, I kept waiting for it. And Fuji looks at him and says, sometimes best rib, no rib. And so I think everybody's looking for the swerve here. Is Kevin Owens going to swerve Cody and somehow try and finagle him? Now, I think we can all agree that Cody's probably still going to retain.
Right.
But I don't think that there's going to be a turn either. I think this is just a straight up match. I think Cody wins, and at the end, there's going to be this moment where you think, oh boy, Kevin's going to take a cheap shot at him. And Kevin presents him with the championship, shakes his hand, gives him a hug, raises his hand.
This is where I think Cody retains.
Mm-hmm.
However, Kevin turns, sets up the main event at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell. Cody KO. Cody gets the hometown pop.
Okay.
I think that's what they're going to go for.
Okay. And so we have another prediction coming in.
Or the Bloodline could very
I could see that. I could see that.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah.
But see, I hope Kevin, and this could.
I agree with this too.
This could build off because Kevin's always had a problem with the original Bloodline.
Sure.
He's had a problem with this new Bloodline, but he might go with the new one against the original. We got to see what happens because you know Kevin's going to have to be intertwined into the Bloodline feud.
Yeah, he's been too close to everything involving the Bloodline.
Him and Sammy are going to be involved. It's just how they're going to do it. So,
well, and it's funny. So in that video they showed of Kevin Owens turning on people, and in Kevin's defense, he says he's like, all those guys deserved it except Kofi.
Right.
And Kofi's a treasure. Kofi, I'm sorry, I got a kick out of that. Right. But one of those guys included Sami Zayn, like you said, twice. So if he's on the opposite side of Sami Zayn in this, in War Games, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
It wouldn't surprise me. All right.
This is a good one. Charlotte
She's got to be soon, I think.
I would think.
I would think.
I don't recall seeing if she was drafted at all. I don't think she was.
Raw, I think.
Oh, she was drafted to Raw?
And let's face it.
That's where she belongs.
That's where she's needed.
Yes. Well, that's what I kind of meant. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then we go to the final show of the weekend. Sunday night, Denver, Colorado. No Mercy.
Really excited about. I'm excited about every card this weekend.
So let's just start from the top of the list. Perez against Jaden Parker for the women's title.
I mean, Roxanne keeps saying it. All these fairy tale stories, they all end the same in defeat. I don't think this one's going to be any different. And give me the Prodigy.
That's what I'm feeling. I'm really feeling she's going to win this. And the fact they alluded during their little segment, it was off camera. And they both said, you want a piece of this? You want a piece of this? I think it's Stephanie. Vasker.
Yeah.
Vasker. And I think we're going to get at Halloween Havoc, Stephanie Roxanne for the title.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
I think.
And Halloween Havoc, that's going to be in Hershey, right?
That's going to be in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hell yeah.
Might as well stick with the women again.
All right.
Wendy Chu challenges Kalani Jordan for the North American title.
Nobody does it like Lonnie. I've become a big fan of Kalani Jordan's.
I have too. I think I've said this before. In the mid-card picture of NXT, Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka are the two I'm really looking forward to. Their progressions. I don't know how JC Jane and Fallon Henley got shifted to the tag teams because I really enjoyed them as singles, but hey.
Yeah. And now they basically started Toxic Attraction 2.0.
Right. Fatal
Influence or
Fatal Influence, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it started with an I.
Yeah.
And then we got the North American men's title. Obafemi against the Don.
Okay, one of these days I'm gonna be wrong picking on Obafemi, but that day ain't gonna be today. I'm gonna continue to pick Obafemi until somebody beats him because that dude is a beast.
I'm gonna predict he loses.
Look, I mean, I've been trying in my head to think of why would they have Obafemi lose here? And it's at some point the Don's got to win one of these championships he's going for, or he's going to get buried.
Exactly.
It's a miracle that he's not been buried yet when the only championship he's won has been a Heritage title and the Heritage Cup.
He's got to win something, babe.
Right.
And I think this might be one of those. It's going to be a 4-on-1 match. We all know it is.
Sure.
We all know that the family's going to get involved. Why not have the family cheat and win at this point?
I'd be here for it, but like I said, until he loses, when he does finally lose, I will have gotten that one wrong.
Okay.
We'll just accept that. Because my man is a beast.
He is a beast. I enjoy his work, but
yes,
something tells me something might happen.
I can't wait to see him on the main roster being an absolute monster heel.
Exactly. Now, tag team titles. Chase U against Frazier and Axiom.
Yeah, I think Chase U should win.
Yeah,
it's their first defense. It's the rematch. Those are usually always just won by the champions. So I'll go with them. Yeah,
that's what I'm going with, and I think maybe we might see the Axiom Frazier split that we've been teased so many times over.
Yeah,
just do it. Let's see what happens.
Seriously, just which one do you think goes heel?
Frazier.
Yeah, that's my pick too.
I think Frazier goes heel.
It's a lot easier to sell him as a heel.
Yeah,
I feel like actually you can't see any emotion because he's wearing a mask.
He's got the mask on, so yeah.
And he just seems too damn likable.
Yeah, he does.
Which is why I don't like him. But
of course.
Yeah.
Because you have no soul.
Yeah. This is true.
And then we have Wesley and Zachary Wentz. Speaking of no soul people, Wesley.
Dude, I love what Wesley's been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he first turned, I was just like, well, this is stupid.
Oh,
let's bring it back just to turn on the whole Rascals. But everything he's done and said since has made so much sense. And this is one of those things where it's kind of like a la the show Cobra Kai, where it's like the villain doesn't think that they're the villain. They think they're the hero. And Wesley has done a great job taking you on this journey and explaining to you why he's not the villain. He's the hero in this story.
Right.
When, look, we all know you're the dirty villain. Just embrace it. Let me love you for being the villain that you are. But you are the villain in the story.
Right.
Like, you turned on your brothers. Like, it's not Zachary Wentz's fault that, like, his ex-girlfriend had an axe to grind and got him fired.
Right.
And then they went back to TNA, and, you know, he and Trey Miguel tore it up and won the TNA tag team titles, like just had a great run. And then they come back and we have MSK challenging for the tag team titles. And that was fantastic. I loved that nostalgia moment. But like, honestly, if they had won, like what would have happened? Like, okay, so even if say then in this alternate universe, they retain against Chase U the next week, or like then they, you know, like, how long does this go before finally, like, the pop just kind of fizzles?
Fizzles, exactly.
And this way, I feel like this is giving depth to the character of both guys, Wentz and Miguel, and Wentz and Wesley. And I was just about to ask, how long before Trey Miguel gets involved? Maybe on Sunday. But I still think this is Wesley. He's the WWE superstar. Zachary Wentz is the TNA wrestler. And as anybody out there knows, superstar always beats a wrestler.
Okay. So you're going to go with Wesley.
Yeah, that was my long-winded way of saying Wesley.
That was your long-winded way of saying Wesley.
Yeah.
You know what? I predicted Wentz to win the X Division title. I think he's going to win. I think they're going to let Wentz win. But I think this is where we have an end game that's not going to happen on WWE programming.
Oh, okay. Maybe Wesley, Zachary Wentz for the X Division Championship at Bound for Glory?
Wesley,
Trey Miguel,
and Trey Miguel in a triple threat or three-way dance.
The Rascals implode at Bound for Glory.
Yes. That's what I'm going for.
Okay. You sold me on it. I'm in for it. But I still think Wesley's winning.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
All right.
And then this leads us to the final match of the weekend. Joe Hendry challenging Ethan Page with Trick Williams as the referee.
Everybody, say it with me. Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. That's my pick.
That's your pick. This is the one match I did not pick yet or type in.
I want it to be so bad because I wanted to be an NXT superstar And look, I know like NXT and WWE, they gotta buy this contract. And this is my weekly, standing on the soapbox and screaming, WWE, give us give us that 252 pounds of pure motivation, the answer to all of life's problems. You just have to say, we believe.
Now, how big of a soapbox is this? Because you are a short person, so it's got to be a big soapbox for you to stand over
Well,
people.
yeah, obviously.
I'm having such. I want to say Joe Hendry. I
Sure.
really, really, really want Joe to win this title.
Mm-hmm.
However, will WWE put one of their titles on a non-contracted talent?
See, here's what I think is probably going on right now. WWE's negotiating at least a number of dates that they can have Joe Hendry for.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll even split time and let him go on there and look, man, he can defend the NXT championship on TNA programming. We'll let you go to Bound for Glory and have him defend the NXT championship on Bound for Glory.
Would that be the main event of Bound for Glory?
It might be. Depending on who he's defending the championship against. Well, say if Moose were to pin Joe Hendry during the 8-man tag, and then Joe Hendry wins the NXT championship, you could make the argument, Moose could come out and say, hey, look, I consider myself the number one contender for the NXT championship because I beat their champion the night before he won it.
Right.
And he'd have an argument. And man, wouldn't that be a cool headline match for Bound for Glory? Moose, Joe Hendry, one-on-one for the NXT championship. The first time ever a WWE championship being defended at a non-WWE pay-per-view. I mean, it would be special. You gotta, so I've heard, and again, listening to the turning, that's us, but listening to Bruce Pritchard, Something to Wrestle With, a lot of the times when Vince McMahon would sell things, or Bruce Pritchard or anybody really, they'd start it off with a what if. And I could see them sitting there and saying, okay, we really want Joe Hendry to be in WWE. We want to capitalize on this momentum. He is over like Rover with our audience. How do we sell this to TNA? Well, okay, everybody recognizes, whether you want to believe it or not, the WWE is the top dog in the wrestling business. We're going to put one of our brand's premier champions on your premier show. Still make them look bad.
Oh, this is tough.
Right?
This is one of those, because then again, is Ethan Page's reign done?
Look, I would think it would be cutting the heels out from underneath Ethan Page. Because he just won the title 2 months ago.
Right. Something tells me some sort of chicanery is going to happen.
Maybe Gallus.
Gallus might get involved. Trick Williams as the ref might do something.
Maybe even inadvertently, yeah. Or maybe not inadvertently. I mean, imagine now, and I'll let you ponder. Imagine we go to NXT on Tuesday. We open the show with Trick Williams standing in the middle of the ring, getting booed, and defending his actions of attacking Joe Hendry by, saying how he wasn't going to let his NXT championship get hijacked and taken off to a show that ain't even WWE.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking something's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of chicanery. I want Joe Hendry to win. I really do. I want to see this moment.
Sure. And maybe we still do. Maybe it's not until something like a Stand and Deliver.
But I don't think the time's right.
Okay.
I'm pondering, I'm going to go an Ethan Page retention.
Okay.
So I guess I will say Page. I think it might be either a double disqualification. Something fishy is going to happen here. And Ethan Page is going to walk out with the championship, leading us to something big.
I mean, could lead us to Trick Williams, Ethan Page at Halloween Havoc. And what if we don't see Joe Hendry for a little while? We start to think, oh, well, maybe at least that portion of the NXT TNA, collaboration is over. And then you see Joe Hendry come back and cost Trick Williams the NXT Championship at Halloween Havoc.
See, I am
maybe setting up a match between the two at, say, Deadline.
Hold on. I'm looking at something here that I find that this might be very interesting.
Okay.
Bound for Glory is October 26th. I'm looking at this. And I'm going to check it now, but something tells me Halloween Havoc's October 27th. For some reason, that date's stuck in my head.
I think it is.
I think it is.
In fact, I think we've looked this up because
it is October 27th.
Because I wanted to see the Eagles schedule and to determine my availability to attend Halloween Havoc.
Something is definitely going to happen that's fishy. Joe Hendry will not win the NXT title on Sunday. I don't know how I should call this.
Well, but it's a title retention for Ethan Page. So if he retains in any way, shape, or form, you get it right.
Right, because it might be a disqualification against Hendry. It might be something, but Hendry's not going to win the title. Not yet. I think this has to build more and more.
Mm-hmm.
You have it in a fever pitch, but it's one of those things. How much longer can we make the fever pitch go on for?
Sure, but I feel
then
like
the devil's advocate
risk of it
running the risk
of it bursting. Yeah,
of it bursting.
Which I kind of feel like that happened a little bit with LA Knight.
Right. Which now leads me to my double bubble way too early. Sit down, mark the date down, August 29th.
Okay.
Bound for Glory, Halloween Havoc will be the biggest weekend in Joe Hendry's life because he's going to win both titles that weekend.
So, do you think that Josh Alexander or Nick Nemeth, or you've already said you think Nick Nemeth is?
I think Nick Nemeth wins.
And so Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry?
I think we're going to have Nick Nemeth against Joe Hendry at Bound for Glory. Hendry wins that title, gets his butt from, I think it's Chicago area, I think.
Yeah.
From Chicago to Hershey, goes into Hershey, wins the title, walks out a double champion. Then you really have solidified your TNA NXT relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You have the same champion on both shows.
That would be something. Boy, if you are right, guys, buckle up. We are in for a hell of a fall.
That we are.
And that's not even including football season, which I'm
very
excited about. Which will unfortunately preempt our show next week, as I will be at a fantasy football draft next Thursday, and
Oh, well, you enjoy that.
I will. Believe me, it was a pain in the ass getting to that point. Like any of our younger viewers, I would tell all of you, enjoy your friendships. Because there's going to come a time that no matter how badly all of you want to get together, it is going to be a royal pain in the ass to figure out when you can all get together.
Family and all that stuff takes precedent when you get older.
Sure.
And yes, you're carefree teens, 20s, where you can do what you want. Then you go into this thing called adulthood, where you have responsibilities, marriages.
Which, by the way, I think my my test run of adulthood has expired. I would like to not renew it. I'd like to go back to being a kid, but however, I would like to stay with my wife because I love my wife. So
exactly,
yeah. So which is why I will, I guess, stay in adulthood.
Exactly. We have no choice but to stay in adulthood.
You and your logic get in the way of my great ideas.
Logic gets in the way of a lot of good ideas.
It does.
It really does.
Which it was funny, listening to Something to Wrestle With today. They were talking about the original WWE draft. And I found it comical when basically at one point, Conrad says to Bruce, he's like, did anybody not like the concept? Did anybody sit there and say, oh, this sounds kind of dumb, like you're just creating your own competition? He goes, no, we all liked the idea. I'm like, really? Every one of you thought, hey, I know, let's insult our fans' intelligence by trying to sell them on the idea that, hey, we have two brands. We created our own competition. Monday Night Raw cares about kicking the shit out of SmackDown, and SmackDown cares about kicking the shit out of Raw. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're in the same company. I'm sorry. I thought my head was going to explode when he said that. I'm just like, did your mother drop you on your head when you were a baby? That's the only thing that would make sense to me.
Well, I think it's because they wanted to. They needed to put more people on TV than what they had allotted hours for. That's why they had to split the roster.
But that's what you have the other off-brand shows for.
Okay. Now you've really. How many times in 2002 and 2003 on a Saturday night did you watch Velocity?
The 2002, 2003? Well, I mean, in my early 20s, I was striking out quite a bit. So, yeah, I watched quite a bit of those shows. More than I'd care to admit.
Heat, I could see more because that was...
It's a Sunday night. Like, it's the end of the weekend. Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, see, I watched a lot of it because I had a problem and I taped everything.
Yeah, me too.
When I got married, I threw out every Raw from 98 to 2010 on VHS.
Which, thankfully, now we have Peacock and we can just go watch whichever one we want to watch. But
I did keep a couple selective ones, obviously.
Nice.
But, however, it is one of those things where...
somewhere I still have my VHS of the Chris Benoit tribute show.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I just have to find it. It's probably at my parents' house. In
Probably.
my bedroom. Yeah.
Probably. And that's the thing where I put a lot on DVD. And
nice.
My one friend was asking me for Coliseum home videos. Well, I do have a lot of them still on DVD.
Yeah, I'm looking right at my wrestling DVD collection right now. Yeah.
So, to me, it's just yes, I saw a lot of Velocity, but I taped all the time, and
sure.
I stayed I stayed current with all of these.
Now, were you a tape trader as a kid, as a younger adult?
I
Because I always wanted to get into that. I just could never find people to actually trade tapes with.
didn't. I tried one trade, didn't work. What I was known for was, I, especially when I was in college, I had a guy in Memphis that I would buy the tapes of Memphis Pro and PowerPoint Wrestling off of.
Oh, wow.
So
Those are some shows I would love to see.
I have the American Dragon as a rookie on those videos. If I can ever find, I don't know if I copied all of them.
Okay.
It was the American Dragon and Spanky were just starting out of Shawn Michaels' school. And I had a lot of that stuff. I would buy the monthly tape. I think he charged like $10 or $20 at the time, and you got 4 episodes. So,
that's cool. Yeah.
So that's what I was, and because I tried to trade him at that point, I think. Well, ECW's gone. That's when CZW started up. So I said, "Do you want this?" Because that used to be on Channel 48, and he said he didn't like it. Again, it's not for everyone.
Sure.
Right.
It's funny because I think ECW did the right blend of extreme wrestling, but also like real wrestling.
Right.
Or a more of a American style as opposed to just the blood and guts of the Japanese style
deathmatch
and the death match. Yeah. Because ECW really didn't do a lot that were that bloody. I mean, they had blood, but
they did it proper.
Yeah, it wasn't just violence for violence sake, which I think John Moxley wants to be more like Nick Gage. And
correct.
But what did you think about his little ominous warning to Tony Schiavone? This isn't your company anymore. Do you think he's joined with the Elite? Do you think?
I think it was a way to try to spark up this Tony Khan, Shane McMahon conference. Like, oh my God, not their company. Is Shane coming in? Like, I think that's what they're trying to do. I don't know what they're going to do with this. Or how they're going to stretch this one.
Right.
Because if Moxley joins the Elite, it's not going to do either side good, I think.
No,
it's one of them where it's not going to do either side good. Did Moxley officially leave the Blackpool Combat Club? And is Pac now in it?
Kind of seems that way.
Is the next question, because is it because the Lucha Bros are leaving?
Yeah, I don't know. Where are they rumored to be going? Do you know?
The Big Time.
Oh.
The Big Time's interested in them. So.
Okay.
Will they end up on Raw or SmackDown or NXT is the question. I would love to see them jump on SmackDown.
Yeah.
And I would be all for a Lucha Brothers Gorilla of Destiny tag team title match.
Look, and I want to see them, maybe even trying to seek some help and maybe getting like Andrade on their side.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, I think that could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Moxley and whether or not he's with the Elite or this is about Shane McMahon. Like, I don't know, like, I don't know what the plan could be. All I know is everything I've seen from AEW since its inception is they're gonna find a way to screw it up. Like I hate to say it, but that's just kind of the reality of it. They're gonna find a way to screw it up.
And see, this is where I'm hoping maybe Shane is going to get involved with this company because they need some fresh ideas. Tony Khan, I've heard people say this. I'm just going to say he's the male Dixie Carter in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I think they need to get someone with better wrestling storytelling on the show.
And I want to say this, Kazuchika Okada, is he to AEW as Taz was to WWE?
Yes.
A killer in one promotion that's been turned into a clown by another.
It is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
What the hell AEW's done to Okada. And I will also say this now, too, since we're talking about Japanese wrestlers. WWE's done the same thing with Nakamura. That's why I'm hoping Nakamura comes back soon. And that's another guy I could see coming back at Berlin, and maybe he's going against Cody if they don't turn Kevin heel. Maybe Nakamura attacks Cody. They need to do something with both of them. Let's face it. If you're looking at pure wrestling on your roster, they're in the top 3 or 4 in both companies, respectively.
Yeah.
And they're just being wasted.
Characters just look like shit.
Right. I mean, for the Elite to have all these titles and all of them look like idiots right now.
Now, I will say I'm excited about the prospects of getting a grizzled young veterans versus the Young Bucks match. I'm intrigued by it at least. Although the GYV, I feel like have underachieved in every promotion they've been in.
Yeah.
And I was so excited for them. I loved them during their NXT UK run.
Right. And I think that was just a way to get the English fans going. Hey, there's some of our hometown boys, but seriously?
Yeah.
What are they going to do with them against the Young Bucks? Lose.
Right. Because that's all the GYV does.
And that's all the Young Bucks do is figure out a way to screw other teams because, we're the EVPs. We need the title. They suck. I'll say it.
Yeah.
They're overplayed.
Yeah, and the thing is, their moves aren't original anymore. When was the last time you really saw a real innovative move from the Young Bucks that you haven't seen 1,000 times from them? Where is the old ECW chant whenever they start doing all those moves? Same old shit.
Yeah.
Because that's all it is anymore. We do a fancy little flip into a leg drop. That's adorable.
Hey, how many times can we say it? And that's the thing that's just...
And I think that's why WWE was always out on them. Because it's all, okay, they've got a couple spots that they like to hit.
Right.
But other than that, they really, and it makes people believe that they're putting on great matches. But then when you watch them, it's like, if I just said to you, hey, I'm going to put on this Young Bucks match, and would you know if it was 2012, 2015, or 2024? I don't think you'd know the difference if you didn't see their facial hair or whatnot. You'd just see it and be like, oh, it's just the same moves.
It depends on who the opponents are. That's the thing. That will give the timeline away.
But if I just said to you, okay, these are the moves they're doing in this match. Okay, collar and elbow tie up into a hammerlock, headlock, shoulder tackle, drop down, leapfrog, and the little monkey flip thing that they flip guys over into. It's just it's the same move set, and it's just over and over again. It's just they have other good wrestlers who make them look like $1 million.
Right.
like the Golden Lovers did it. The freaking Gorillas of Destiny did it. Like
Right.
everybody's made the Young Bucks look like this great team. I'm starting to just believe they're not that good.
Right.
Like I'm over the Young Bucks, and I think that's what WWE saw is that these guys aren't original. They can't tell a good story. All they do is they hit a couple moves and they make people jump out of their seats once or twice in a match. But eventually, all the backflips in the world, nobody's going to give a shit. You can't tell a story. Why am I caring about you risking your life doing this crazy, triple jump moonsault? Why am I caring about it if you're not telling me a compelling story?
Honestly, if they're not wrestling FTR, chances are I'm in the bathroom when they're on TV.
Yeah.
That's how boring I find them to be.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I love FTR. I love. There's a number of tag teams in AEW that I really like.
I think are phenomenal. I think you've got you have a good enough division of tag team wrestling that which you are wasting right now because politics is ruining that company. Just like it ruined WCW, it's ruining AEW because the Bucks have to be on top.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like just change out a couple names. A wrestling company being ruined because XYZ wrestler needs to be on top. Am I talking about WCW or am I talking about AEW? I could be talking about either one.
Yeah, you could be. At least the WCW guys drew money.
Yeah. Yeah, they could actually, wrestle in front of a packed house.
Good.
They could have probably taken WCW guys, well, especially back in like the mid 90s. They could have gone to Wembley Stadium and sold the shit out of that place.
The thing is, one of those WCW guys, whether you like what he's done in the past out of the ring or not, if it wasn't for him, a lot of us wouldn't still be wrestling fans. And Mr. Hogan deserves those flowers.
Which, by the way, I have to tell you this, and this is going to sound like, the 7 degrees of separation of Kevin Bacon, but so I'm on vacation, and my cousin's fiance tells me about his cousin because he's saying how close all of our family members are. And I'm really close with this one cousin of mine, Nicholas. Right. And he, my other cousin's fiance says to me, hey, so my cousin manages these former athletes. He's like a manager for all these former athletes. And he goes, you're big time into wrestling, right? He's like, yeah. He's like, you know who this is? And he shows me a picture. And I go, you fucking with me, dude? Of course I know who that is. Hulk Hogan.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like, of course I know who that is. If I'd never watched wrestling in my life, I would still know who that is.
Exactly.
But yeah, really cool. And he told me about that. I'm just like, dude, okay, I got to get him on our show at some point.
There you go.
Which, talk about a coup that would be.
That it would be.
But, I don't want to end the show on a sour note with talking about AEW. Give me one thing you're looking forward to this weekend. One match, either show, either one of the 3 shows.
I think top to bottom, it's going to be 3 great shows. Mm-hmm. I think out of all of them, the one I'm most intrigued by is Paige Hendry.
Yeah, that was going to be my choice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, look, they could either just strike while the iron's hot and just put the belt on Joe Hendry, which it would make sense.
Right.
But your way of dragging it out, I also think makes a ton of sense too.
Right. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will. So everybody, I hope you guys all enjoy your weekend of wrestling. Happy Labor Day to everybody out there. Me, I'll be laboring on Labor Day. I'll be working, but
my store's closed, so that's a good thing.
Good. But I'll be off next Friday. I'm taking my holiday on Friday.
Well, enjoy.
Yes. Everybody, have a great night, a great week, and we'll see you, I guess, in 2 weeks. And we'll be discussing everything all the fallout from all the shows from this past week.
And we're going to have All Out to talk about that.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have All Out as well. We'll, of course, I guess, text each other with our previews or with our picks for that show.
Because they've already got 5 matches, which is good for AEW. So,
yeah, I'm proud of them.
Me too.
All right, we will see you then, everybody. Have a great night and happy wrestling.